Hi guys, this is Sam from Fluid Social talking to you from St Paul's, just next to Bankside on the North Bank of the River Thames. Today I'm going to talk to you about a topic that a lot of people have been asking me about recently, which is you're going on a date with a girl that you've met, you've approached her in the day, and you don't know whether you should take things as far as you can on the first date or if you should wait for the following dates to escalate things further. I know a lot of guys feel the sense of anxiety about escalating things early. Is she going to think that I'm just in it for the sex? Is she going to think that I'm not a serious guy and that I'm only looking for quick sex? Is she going to feel degraded if I try and escalate things? Is it better instead to wait until the second or third date? Wait until we've got to know each other a bit better and she knows that I'm a cool guy and I'm relaxed and I'm not pushing for anything. How should I handle that first date? And there's a fairly simple solution to this, which I'm about to tell you. So the first thing to think about is you met the girl in the day, you've messaged her, you've arranged to meet up. There are two ways that you should be doing this. Right, the first way, which I think is great for guys that are beginning or feeling a little bit nervous, maybe you're not fully confident with the whole process, and this way is the 1 hour date. So what I recommend for guys, particularly who have alternative schedules, maybe you don't have that typical 9 to 5, you can meet up at midday on a Thursday, or even if you're just using the weekends and you can use a Saturday or Sunday, brunch time or an early afternoon as your sort of date slot. But I recommend arranging to meet for either brunch or for a walk along the river or to meet in the park or to go and see a gallery or an exhibition or something like this, and just very relaxed, just say, let's just meet here. When you actually meet up with that girl and you go on the date, you then tell her, listen, I've got to go in like half an hour, halfway through the date, or I've got to go in 45 minutes, I need to go and meet a friend. And so essentially what you're doing is you're taking all of that pressure of where's it going to go, are we going to escalate it, what's going to happen. You're taking that pressure off and you're just there to get to know her. You're just there to find out as much as you can about her in a relaxed and low pressure way. You know that it can't go anywhere. You know that you're not going to have sex or there's no risk of her saying no to that because there's no opportunity for it. You simply don't have enough time for it. So in that time, the both of you can relax, find out as much as you can about each other, and you get to remember that you're actually a selector as well. You're not just going on the date and regardless of her personality, trying to escalate things as much as possible to lead it to the bedroom. You're actually saying, well, let me get to know her. Let me see whether after this hour, it's actually worth my time to meet up with her again. Do I like her enough that I would want to spend a whole afternoon, a whole evening, or a whole day in her company again? And what you can do is you can actually set up 1, 2, 3 dates in an afternoon or on a Sunday or a Saturday and get to know loads of people for that short period of time. Now, if she's the type of girl that really doesn't like sleeping with someone on the first date, then this little hour period of time that you're going to spend with her is going to alleviate a lot of that concern and mean that if you do like her and if you do want to see her again, when you then meet up for drinks in the evening or for something a little more full on where you have a longer period of time to get to know her, that sort of first date anti-sexual rhetoric is going to be eliminated and she's going to feel more comfortable spending that time with you and letting it escalate towards your place or her place or the bedroom if that's what you both want. Now the second way to do it, if you're not keen on spending that 1 hour, that short period of time getting to know her with no chance of escalation, is to arrange that evening date. Now what I recommend for guys that are meeting up with a girl for drinks on the first date is not to be afraid of escalating it. Remember that it's her decision as well as yours. So just because you're going to escalate it, you've had a couple of drinks and you want to take her home, just because that's what you want at the moment doesn't necessarily mean that it's what she wants, but it might also be what she wants. So it's not our job to have preconceptions about what she wants, about what the other person is interested in. We have to come to it with an open mind and say, maybe that's the way I want the date to go and maybe that's the way she wants the date to go. And if we both agree on that and we're both in the mood for it, then why shouldn't it go in that direction? And why should that degrade the relationship in any way? It simply doesn't have to take anything away from the romance or the way that the relationship develops. So if you are that person that wants to go on the date in the evening, go out for drinks, and maybe you actually think there's a chance to go home with her on the first date, which is very possible, then just suggest it. So I've got a little story to kind of demonstrate this point. Like, I was talking to a friend this morning and he said he went on a date with a girl and things were going well. They had a good chemistry, they had a good connection. They went out for drinks. And whilst they were having drinks, he was thinking, right, how am I going to make an excuse to take her home? So he said, got talking about food, got talking about cuisine, and then said to the girl, he brought it up and he said, well, let's go back and I'll cook you this food that we're talking about. I'm a really good cook. And she's like, yeah, sure. So he's like, okay, step one done. They go and buy the food in the supermarket and he's trying to figure out the next step. Gets back, cooks the food. It's, you know, quite tense because he wants this to go the way that he wants it to go. And then they get to the point of sex 3 hours later after he's cooked her a meal and they've gone through all of this process. And then he looks at her and he says, had I asked you at the bar when we first met, do you want to go home and have sex? What would you have said? And she sort of looked away and said, probably yes. And it was just a really good demonstration of how we overcomplicate it. We think that we need all these excuses. And yes, in some cases it can be useful. It takes the sort of pressure off and it means that you don't have to confront the idea of suggesting something sexual straight away. It can be helpful, but also I think an important point to demonstrate is that you don't lose points for suggesting it. You don't lose points on a night out even when you're with a girl and you're getting on and you say, let's go back to mine. I want you to come home with me. You don't lose points for suggesting it. She might say, fuck no, I've just met you, I'm not interested. But you're not gonna lose the points for suggesting it and actually planting that seed and showing that you're a guy who's confident enough to actually bring it up and suggest it versus someone who's always trying to shirk around the edges and avoid any sense of sexual tension or conflict can give you massive brownie points. So just to quickly recap, those are the two systems. You've got the sort of 1 hour where you're reviewing her, you're seeing if the two of you get on so that it's worth your time to actually spend a longer period of time with her. The second option is to go on the first date. If you feel like things are going in the right direction, don't be afraid to escalate it. Don't be afraid to suggest what you want to do because that might also be what she wants to do. Don't fall in the middle ground where you haven't made a decision and you're avoiding that idea altogether. If you want to go there, you're getting on with her and you actually want to take her home, there is no harm in suggesting it. You do not lose points for that. On the other hand, if you want to do that first date that's like an hour, hour and a half, 2 hours, a short brunch or a trip to the gallery so you can get to know her and decide whether it's actually worth your time, then go for that. Mix it up, experiment with both. If you guys want to find out how this can work specifically in your cases, maybe you've met a girl and you're not quite sure which way to do it and which one would suit your specific set of circumstances, then I am offering Skype coaching whilst I'm over in Brazil. That's going to be 1 hour a week for a month between August and October the 28th. So if you guys want to know how we can specifically manage your dating situations and the women that you're meeting in your life, then I'll be happy to go through this with you in our Skype calls, as well as many other things. The one other option that you guys have got is to just go for the instant date. A lot of the time you meet a girl in the day and you feel attraction and she feels attracted to you and you can feel that chemistry, you can see it in the eyes, but then when you get the number and you message her, that attraction's dead, it's died, it's gone. And so she doesn't respond to your messages or nothing comes of it. Remember that you're not just here to get the number, you're here to get to know the person, you're here to get to know her. And so most of the time, when you meet that girl in the day, that is your moment. That is the one chance you're gonna get, is when you're right there with her. So see what you can do with it. Suggest walking with her. You've met her, you've got along with her, you're not doing anything, she seems pretty relaxed. Just say, hey, let's go have a walk. I can show you a couple of places along here. There's some nice bars down there. There's a good cafe down there. Suggest spending more time, because sometimes that whole escalation, almost like a business sales funnel, has to be executed in the moment. It can't be done sporadically and bitterly over the course of a couple of weeks. It has to be that first step, second step, third step, fourth step. Otherwise the chemistry dies and the connection withers. So that's the third option. It's definitely worth you guys experimenting with that. If you're getting on with the girl, suggest going on a date right now. Suggest a good bar that you know that's close to the place that you currently are. And absolutely go for it, because it's bad habit to just be going for numbers when you could be spending that time getting to know her in the moment, having amazing experiences and amazing adventures. This has been Sam talking to you from St. Paul's. I will see you in the next video. Sam out.